Today we're going to do the distributive property notes, and I'm going to show you what that is and what it means. So basically what the distributive property says is that you're going to take a factor. Remember, factors have to do with multiplication, and distribute it to each part of a group of things Now this group of things that we're talking about is normally in a set of parentheses. And so the group of things here is going to be in a set of parentheses. The factor is going to be out here. Your group of things are going to be in here. And then that group of things that are added and subtracted. And the things are terms, algebraic terms. So let's go through this again. And you can make some notes to the side on your note sheet if you want, that you take a factor, and a factor has to do with multiplication. So this is going to involve multiplication. And it's going to distribute it to each part of a group of things. So we're going to have the factor on the outside, a group of things of algebraic terms, and they're going to be added or subtracted in that set of parentheses. Now, if I'm the teacher and I have students at each of these desks and I want to hand out papers, I'm going to distribute them to each student. So what we're going to do in this case is we will have a factor. Our factor here is A. So A is called our factor. And in our definition, this was called a group of things. This is a group of terms added or subtracted. So this is your group of terms that are added or subtracted. So what is going to happen here is we're going to distribute using multiplication. So we're going to multiply the A times the B and the A times the C. That will be AB, that's how we write in algebra, things multiply together, plus the AC. So notice that the B and C both add or are added together, but each the B and C, in addition, we now have the factor of A with them, as it's been distributed to each of them. Both the B and the C, now I have a factor of A with them. So the same thing here. We have X as a factor. So we take X, and X is the factor, is going to be distributed to the Y and the Z. So now the Y is going to have a factor of X, which two factors are multiplied together, and the Z is also going to have a factor of X. Now for A times B minus C. Again, when we look at this problem, we're going to distribute our factor of A, multiplying A times the B and A times the C. Now notice in the middle of each of these problems, plus is in the parentheses with the two terms, and they're added together in the final answer. And if it's minus, then they are also subtracted in the final answer. So please take note of that. The next problem, A is the factor, and we actually have three terms inside of our parentheses, and that is okay. We're still going to distribute it three times. We're going to get a factor of A to the B, a factor of A to the C, and a factor of A to the D. So they're all going to end up with that factor. So the next problem, we have a factor of the number 2. And inside we have three terms that are added together. So we're going to distribute. We're going to give a 2 to the x as a factor, so it's multiplication, a 2 to the y, and a 2 to the z. So we are distributing or giving each factor what is given there. The 2 is the factor that is being distributed out to the x, the y, and the z. Next you have 10, and it's going to be distributed to these factors. So we're going to put a 10 on the A and a 10 on the B. But for the last one, we're going to put a 10 multiplied times the 4. Well, 10A and 10B are written that way as the term, the coefficient and the variable. But 10 times 4 is actually 40. So that answer there, when you distribute the 10 times the 4, you get 40. In the next problem, we're going to distribute the factor A, and we're going to distribute it to the x. So x now has a factor of A with it, an A with the y, and an A with the 2. But just know, in algebra, the coefficient is written before the variable, so this should be written as 2A instead of A2. So I just wanted you to know that we are giving an A factor to the number 2, but the 2 will be written first. It's just a general accepted way of writing things in math. It's not a hard, fast rule. In the next problem, we're going to distribute the 2. We're going to give a 2 to the x and a 2 to the y. So we're going to give a 2 to each of those. In the next problem, we're also going to give a 2, but this time to a 3x and a 5y. So you will see on your worksheet you have this plus this. Well, I want you to add a second one so I can show you the steps. So we're going to distribute a 2 to the 3x and a 2 to the 5y. But now we have a number multiplied by another number, the 2 times the 3, that's 6. And a 2 times the 5, that's 10. So this would be our final answer when we distribute that 2 out to each of those. And lastly, we have the 4 that's going to be distributed. So again, on your worksheet, it has blank plus blank minus blank. And I want you to do another one of those, blank plus blank minus blank. Because we're going to distribute the 4 to the x squared, 4 to the 3x, and a 4 to the 5. So this is going to be 4x squared. 4 times 3 is 12, because we have two numbers multiplied. And then 4 times 5 is 20, so that will be our final answer down here. After we give each term a 4, we need to simplify it by doing the multiplication. Okay, that is your introduction to the distributive property.